12 subscriptions. You can name 6. The other 6, still charging. $273 a month you don't remember approving. $3,276 a year. Most people don't remember making this decision. That's the problem. Actually, that's not the problem. The problem is they did make it. They just made it once, years ago, and it's been making itself ever since. It doesn't arrive with a signature. It just slips in, quietly, dressed as convenience. A small monthly charge, then another, then a few more. Different versions of yourself that all said yes to something small. The payments don't hurt because they don't interrupt anything. They happen while you're asleep, while you're at work, while you're thinking about something someone said 3 days ago that still bothers you. Subscriptions you barely remember starting, services that promise to save time, features that were only a few dollars more, trial periods that expired without ceremony. Alone, harmless. Together, they're spending on your behalf. They've formed a committee, and the committee meets monthly, without you. The most dangerous part isn't the money, it's the silence, because silence feels like consent. Each payment is small, like a drop of water. You barely notice it. A notification flashes, then disappears. A receipt lands in your inbox, unread. Another drop, and another. The floor still feels solid. Rent gets paid, food's on the table. So your brain learns something, quietly. It learns these drops don't matter. Weeks pass, months. The drops keep falling, not fast enough to scare you, not loud enough to demand a decision, because there's always something louder. A work deadline, a conversation that went badly. The subscriptions don't compete for attention. They don't need to. Until one day you shift your weight, and the floor gives. You pull up your bank account again. This time, you actually look. You count. You add. The average American has 12 active subscriptions. Most can name 6. The other 6, still charging. $273 a month they don't remember approving. $3,276 a year. And by then, you don't remember when the water started. You just know the room is wet. The mistake isn't spending money. It's spending without noticing. Not recklessness, not indulgence. Comfort. Comfort feels neutral, feels earned, feels like the absence of danger. But comfort isn't the absence of cost. It's just the absence of friction. When payments are automatic, they stop feeling like decisions. They feel like gravity, inevitable. Money leaves without asking your permission, without checking in. And slowly the relationship changes. You stop choosing, you start hosting. Expenses move in, they settle, they make themselves comfortable. They don't announce themselves as problems. They introduce themselves as normal. The system takes over the role of judgment. You don't decide what stays, you just notice what remains. And the thing is, it doesn't feel wrong, it feels responsible. Because responsible people automate things, right? That's what the internet says. Automate, streamline, optimize. But no one mentions what happens when the automation outlives the intention. The consequences don't look like disaster, they look like tension. A job change feels risky, even if it pays the same, because you've mentally accounted for the income you have, and the income you have is already spoken for. A move feels impossible, not because you don't want to, but because the math doesn't math anymore. Not because your income disappeared, but because your flexibility did. Small costs harden into structure. They turn into walls you lean against without noticing, until one day you try to step back, and there's nowhere to go. You're not trapped, you're just constrained. Nothing collapsed, nothing exploded, but something closed, quietly. This is how you know you're inside it. Stopping would feel awkward, not hard, just awkward. Explaining it would sound strange. I'm paying for something I don't use. Out loud, it sounds ridiculous. In your head, it sounds fine. Because it looks normal. It feels normal. It's praised as normal. Just automate everything. Set it and forget it. The discomfort isn't financial. It's social. And that's why it lasts, until you try to move and realize you've been standing still. The most expensive decisions are the ones you never actively make. The ones that make themselves, month after month, year after year, while you're looking somewhere else. This is costly choices.